Good morning, hello, and welcome to Morning Brew on Politics Social. Oh, I see I haven't got your chat up. Just let me address that error, and I will be with you in a moment. It's better. Hello, everybody. I'm Graham Hughes. You're watching Morning Brew on Politics Social. It's Thursday, the 20th of November, 2025. Welcome to everyone in the chat. We've got Diz, Plum, we've got Saz, we've got Black Dot Dot. We've got SG in there as well. If you'd like to join our friends in the chat, give us a like, give us a subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that jazz. Just do it now. Do it. You done it. Okay, right, we'll continue. If you subscribed, you can also join the chat. Which you can't unless you subscribe. So just, if you're a lurker, how about just pop in and saying hello, I'm a lurker. So it's the 20th of November, which is my dear friend Rachel has just let me know that it is Transgender Day of Remembrance today, and that's worth pointing out, I think, because can we just say, quite frankly, that every transgender suicide is a murder committed by some cisgender fuck like J.K. Rowling or Graham Linehan or Donald Trump or Vladimir Putin or Mohammed bin Salman or, whoever these horrible people are, making people who are transgender feel unwelcome in society. So let's make sure that today in particular and every day going forward, we do our best to let our transgender friends and family and neighbours and colleagues know that they are valid and they are loved and they've done nothing wrong. They've done nothing wrong except try to live their authentic life, which shouldn't be a crime, should it? Peace and love to all of my transgender friends out there. It's been a shit 10 years. It's been a really, really shit 10 years since the oil companies, and it is the oil companies, decided that they needed a scapegoat, and the wheel of misfortune sadly turned and ended up on trans people. They've obviously lost the battle against gay people existing now that gay marriage was allowed across the UK and the US. Finally, years late, finally, people who are gay and in love, lesbians in love, were given the same rights and tax breaks as cisgender people. Heterosexual people in love. But yeah. Okay, so sorry I'm a bit late getting started. We're dealing with some mad weather up here in the northeast, so you might have seen it in the news. So sorry about that. I had a few things to do before I could get started. But today I want to talk about nurses and billionaires. So, this is the absolute absurdity of it all. The newspapers are continually pumping out this bullshit about these rich people leaving the country. Well, 50,000 nurses are openly saying they might leave, and the political class acts like that's fine. 50,000 nurses, we can afford to lose that, can't we? But a few thousand millionaires now we've got to do stuff. We've got to keep them in the country. You've got to keep them here, right? The people that Britain really needs are the ones that are being treated with suspicion and hostility, while the people we don't need are treated like fucking fragile porcelain. And I'll get into this because there's a Royal College of Nurses survey that's come out today saying that 50,000 nurses could quit. That's in The Guardian. Let's have a look. So over 5,000 internationally trained nurses surveyed. 60% say that Starmer's changes make it very likely. This is to do with the leave to remain, indefinite leave to remain. The changes being made to that make it very likely that they are going to leave the UK. This means that the NHS could lose 1 in 10 nurses, and a system that's already on life support. And the Royal College of Nurses have talked about this indefinite leave and remain, this changing the rules, moving the goalposts, even for people who have been here for 4.5 years. They want to make it 10 years before you can get indefinite leave to remain. This isn't like, becoming a citizen. This is just to know that you're solid here for the foreseeable. And the Royal College of Nurses has said that this is immoral. They said it's dangerous. They said it's a betrayal of those who came here during COVID to save British lives. So doubling the wait for indefinite leave to remain from 5 to 10 years means 10 years of insecurity, I should say, the opposite of that. It means 10 years of insecurity. It means tied visas. It means risks of exploitation. It means no access to public funds despite paying taxes for 10 years. So let me get this straight. If you're rich and you fuck off out this country and you stop paying any tax whatsoever in this country, we, the British taxpayer, still have to fund the people working at the fucking embassy in the fucking country that you've fucking gone to, which costs a fucking fortune, by the way. An embassy or high commission in every country pretty much in the world. Yeah, that's quite an expensive thing to have. And it's there for these fucking billionaires with their British passports to use, and they don't pay for it because they've left the country. We're the ones who pay for it. We pay for it. We British taxpayers pay for it. Right. The Labour also bring in higher English standards and degree level requirements for visas. This isn't about raising standards, it's about deliberately shrinking the workforce in a system that is already buckling. And 10 years with no access to child benefit, disability support, or state assistance. That is, I think that's deliberately cruel, because it means that if you are a nurse and you come here at the age of, let's say, 30, and you work for 10 years, by the time that it's safe to have children, knowing that you will get some kind of child benefit, like most people do in this country, you will actually might be too old to have kids. I know there's a lot of bullshit about the what's it called, the ticking clock and everything, and it's different for every woman. But you've only got an opportunity to have kids that does run out, and if it runs out earlier than expected, then you don't get to have kids. And it is interesting, isn't it, the conflation, how the right just weaponizes migration and this central trick, this propaganda trick that they use. They deliberately blur the line between asylum seekers fleeing war, persecution, torture, and legal migration, skilled workers that the UK invited in because we had a shortage in that sector of those particular workers. We gave visas to people. This blurring of the line between asylum seekers and legal migration, I would say legal migration makes it sound like the asylum seekers are illegal. They're not. It's legal to pursue asylum in this country. That is a legal right that everyone has. So let's just say skilled migration. Yeah. So asylum seekers versus requested migration would be a better way of putting it. This is intentional. It's a manipulation designed to create the impression of chaos and justify cruelty. Because if you've got, say, 100,000 people who came across in small boats in a given year, but you've got 1 million people who came here on a visa, you can conflate those numbers and make it sound to your average bod in the street that there's 1 million people coming over in small boats, because that's all they hear. That's the bit that sticks in their head. 1 million people. Oh my God, it's an invasion. It's a flood. It's a tidal wave. All these words used. Swarming, they use that word as well to that's a word that racists use to make it sound like these people aren't people. Don't forget, one of the words that was used a lot in the run-up to the genocide in Rwanda, in which 800,000 people were hacked to death in the space of less than 2 months with machetes, was cockroach. they use that word a lot on the radio, on the TV. They talked about cockroaches. They talk about the Tutsis being cockroaches. Don't forget, that's why that Haiti Hopkins woman, privately educated, of course, failed apprentice candidate, was kicked from the Scum newspaper, or one of those newspapers, probably the Mail or something, one of those shitty newspapers, because she equated people coming from other countries to cockroaches. That was only 10 years ago, if that. I mean, nowadays, she'd probably get away with it, especially on X, which is an absolute cesspool. But yeah, using this, the nursing crisis is a perfect example of where this goes horribly wrong. The government threatens legal migrants. The public is encouraged to picture boat crossings. The reality is nurses came here legally on work visas that we issued. They applied for a visa, we gave them the visa through government-approved routes, and were literally asked to help come save lives in this country. Save British people's lives. They came here to save British people's lives, and now we're treating them like shit. The racist logic is that when we hear migrants, the right wants to imagine non-white faces, conflating black and brown people with illegality, danger, disorder, crime, which often gets linked even in the House of Parliament. Rupert Lowe standing up last week and saying, oh, we should bring back the death penalty because of all the crime. Crime's down. Crime is massively down. Murder's down. There are no serial killers anymore because we're not all full of lead. An entire generation whose brain isn't 50% lead. Lead fucks you up. Lead ruins your logic circuits. But yeah, the crime's gone down. You wouldn't believe that if I just told you without any stats to back it up, because you've been lied to for so long that the world is a dangerous place where everyone's out to get you, which isn't true. Unless you're transgender. And then the billionaires, the oil companies, the J.K. Rowlings of the world are out to get you because, well, either it makes more money for the oil companies to distract us with this cultural bullshit, or if in the case of J.K. Rowling, you desperately want to be a trans man, as evidenced by just looking at her. She's just looked at herself and said, oh, I don't look very feminine. Maybe I should think about transitioning to become a trans man, as I do write under a man's name. Actually, no, I'll just go on some mad fucking self-hating odyssey in which I externalize all the hatred I feel against myself, and I just put that on all the trans people. Thanks, Joanne, dickhead. But yeah, the reality is, for the vast majority of people living in this country now, that they're less likely to be carjacked or to be stabbed or to be shot or to be attacked in ways. One of the only few things that the rate isn't really going down is sexual assault. And when there's a sexual assaulter in charge of the United States of America, when the refuck party had a domestic abuser, a man who kicked his girlfriend unconscious and ended up in jail for doing so. And they're like, oh, well, we're a Christian organization. We're very forgiving. Yeah. I seem to remember Jesus Christ, going on about loving your neighbor and taking care of refugees, since he was a refugee in Egypt as a baby. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's in the Bible. Hey, listen, don't quote me. I'm an atheist. What do I know? Yurin Infectinov, £5 super chat. Thank you very much. The only invasion is from the growing number of right-wing pork-lad C units who I wouldn't trust to pick up dog shite in a park. Yeah, that's the real issue at the moment. Fucking idiots putting up fucking flags in deprived areas and making the house prices go down by at least 5%. That's nice at the minute. Stupid bastards. I want to show how much I want to suck Nigel Farage's cock. Oh yeah, I've got Nigel. Look at me, Nigel. I've climbed up a lamppost to put a fucking filthy rag on the top of the lamppost, held on by a bit of a loom strap, a fucking bit of a zip tie. Yeah, I've put that up. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so this conflation is not accidental. It's a technique used across the US and Europe to make people fear anyone who isn't white. And it isn't white, I'm British born as well, because this wasn't just for people who were coming here. Because 10 years ago, you would have people complaining about Polish people coming here, or Romanian people, or Bulgarian people, Polish people, possibly more white than me. But they had an accent, an unacceptable accent, which is slightly ironic coming from an island which has about 79 different unique accents depending on where you're from. Oh, you're from North Liverpool, oh, you sound like that. Okay, you're from South Liverpool, okay, you sound like that. Or you're from Birkenhead. I'm sorry. But yeah, this is not accidental. They've done this on purpose to other people. They want to make sure that the people voting for VFUC are the terrified people who have been terrified by years of media lies, distortions, mistruths, statistics that have been bent out of any semblance of reality. And they want those votes, but they also, and this is important as well, and I think when we saw Shabana Mahmood earlier in the week talking about her experiences as a brown woman in this country, her experiences, I think they also want to get on board people who are minorities who want to stop the abuse. And it's kind of like, it's blackmail, isn't it? It's extortion. It's like, get in line, turn against people who look like you, and in that way, we'll stop people being horrible to you. We'll stop being horrible to you if you can stop people coming over in small boats because of this conflation. And I wish that the government would spend more time working on this and explaining to people that this conflation is done on purpose to make people hate people from other cultures. I wish they'll go after Nigel Farage with everything they've got. Keir Starmer said, there's questions to be answered about Farage being a massive racist in school. But I hope he doesn't leave it at that. I hope he goes after him. Absolutely go after him with everything the government has got. Destroy his life. Why not? This is a government. This is a British government. They'll destroy people's lives. They'll destroy people's lives for being Irish. They'll destroy people's lives for being Scouse. They've destroyed people's lives for being single mothers. They've done it so often. I mean, they probably lose track of the number of lives that have been destroyed, directly or indirectly, by this government, by not this government in particular, but by British governments, successive British governments. Look at the people who got fucked over by the post office. Look at the people who died because of the tainted blood scandal in the 80s. Look at the people who died because of Section 28, and now they're bringing it back. So yeah, if the government want to go after someone, they fucking can. The Tory government went after Steve Bray. They made a law of the land targeting Steve Bray, targeting one person who stands outside Parliament making a bunch of noise. Can you believe that? Can you believe that actually happened? Yeah. Okay, we'll do it to Farage. Just say any bastard named Nigel Farage, make a law. Any dickhead named Nigel Farage, born on this particular day, who went to Dulwich College, must go immediately to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect £200. Fuck the fuck off, you bollock dead fucking foghorn of bollocks. But yeah, we've talked about this so many times on this channel, but like, asylum is a legal right. Yeah, it's a legal right, and legal migration is essential to Britain. The right wants to undermine both by treating all migrants as a single threatening blob, and this works politically for them. But the cost is human lives, not just asylum seekers dying in the Channel, but people from Britain, people born in Britain, elderly people who might have fought for this country in World War II, dying because they're not getting the care that they deserve because the nurses aren't there, the healthcare professionals aren't there, because we've made them feel so unwelcome in this hostile environment that they're like, screw this, I'll go somewhere where I'm appreciated. When we need to think about this. We need to think about how we treat people from other countries, because we should be fucking thanking them, not condemning them, not demonizing them. We should be thanking them. There should be a fucking day. There should be a day where we just thank people for coming from other places. I'm gonna. This is probably a bit cheeky because obviously I came on a bit late this morning, but I'm just gonna I'm just gonna put a thing in for super chat goals. Okay, so I'm just typing something here. There we go. Okay, right. So I'll put a goal up for 10 super chats. We've got an hour. Don't worry, no rush. 10 super chats, and we'll get confetti, and I'll put the heating on. Anyway, so the reality is as well, the NHS can't really survive losing that many fucking nurses. We've already got record waiting lists. We've already got A&Es at breaking point. We've also already got chronic understaffing, social care collapse, feeding into hospital gridlock. And this losing 50,000 nurses, and okay, not all of them are going to leave, but if a good chunk of them do, it could it could push the system past the point of recovery. It could. And the UK has 794,000 nurses. So removing tens of thousands isn't a staffing shortage. It's a systemic structural failure if that happens, Let's just talk about how the media is going crazy that millionaires might leave, right? But they're not going crazy that nurses might leave. And I want you to come with me on this sort of idea that actually, first of all, if the millionaires are going, okay, but also it's a manufactured scare story. The supposed mass departure of millionaires. Millionaire migration is under 1% every year, and the data that claims otherwise is opaque, it's unreliable, it's outright misreported. It's coming from dodgy ass sources like a company that helps millionaires relocate in another country. Oh, we did a survey. Oh, did you? Okay. And Britain is, it's taught to fear the wrong people. The media hypocrisy, wall-to-wall coverage of this fictional millionaire crisis, silence on the real crisis facing nurses and care professionals and we workers, just standard workers working in different fields, industry, agriculture in this country that we rely on. We rely on immigration, and we've spoken about this a million times, but it's because we've got an aging population. We just do. That's not, as James O'Brien is fond of saying, that's not an opinion. That's just counting. It's like, I'll count all the old people. Oh, fuck, there's loads of them. Count all the young people. Oh, there's not as many. Okay, that's going to be a problem, isn't it? And people think that when they work or when they pay their stamp, they there's like a little account gets made for them, and once they retire, they take money out of that account that they've paid into all their life, and it doesn't work like that. Pensions are paid by the people who were working at the time. The pensions back in the 70s were paid by the people working in the 70s. The pension in the 80s paid by the people working in the 80s. Now it's the 2020. It's the 2020s. We're not having our pensions that are going out right now. They're not being paid by the people from the 1980s. No, they're being paid by the people now in the 2020s who are working. So yeah. I've got another super chat come in. Thank you, Chris C, for the second super chat of the morning. NHS workers are worth more than one rich twat. Yeah, absolutely. And we can look at Spain. We can look at other countries that have brought in wealth taxes, which raise real revenue quickly. And we can put in exit taxes, something that we should absolutely do. Exit taxes, rich people moving is a ridiculous concept, right? People say, oh, they'll just move, right? They might move their liquid assets. They might move their investments in big companies. So, look, this is a separate issue. We need to tax big companies more. We need to tax Starbucks. Starbucks earns £3 billion a year in this country. It's not going to fucking leave, all right? It's not going to leave. If we tax them, they're not going to shut up all the shops. And if they do, good. will let other people take over those shops, and they will, pay tax and live in this country instead of all that money that we generate, that we create, and then we give to Starbucks being exported to America for the license to use the fucking logo so they can get around paying less tax. But the thing is, rich people in this country, they're usually deeply rooted in UK property. One of the reasons they're so rich is because the property boom over the last 40 years, where we've seen house prices go from 2.5 grand to 2.5 million in the space of one generation, 2 generations. We've got, they've got financial networks here. They've got loophole-rich tax arrangements. And this Exodus narrative is just invented to, I don't know, to block wealth taxes, to make the government scared to bring in wealth taxes. Oh, because they'll all leave if we tax them. You get these dickheads phoning up the radio going, I'm leaving, I'm 72, I'm leaving, I'm going to live in Cyprus. And I'm like, well, good luck, mate, unless you've got an EU passport. Have you looked into that? Well, here's the thing, that we should losing a few billionaires changes fuck all, really. This is still going to be the wealthiest country, one of the wealthiest countries in the world. Second richest country in Europe after Germany. And, but losing 50,000 nurses, that the effect that's going to have is people are going to fucking die. A few billionaires leave, they're not going to die. As far as I'm concerned, the rich tax dodgers can fuck off, because they say, oh, don't tax us because we'll leave. And like, you're not paying any taxes anyway. Do you know what I mean? So like, oh, you won't get the tax that I pay. I'm like, well, we don't fucking get that anyway. Not from the super wealthy. And also, we could have things in place to make sure that, if you're going to leave, okay, exit tax. They do this in loads of other countries around the world. I think we're one of the few G7 countries, or the only G7 countries that doesn't actually. We're one of the few that doesn't actually have this exit tax, and that to me is just like bizarre. Like, why not? Someone's going to leave the country. Okay, here's a few things, right? Exit tax. You can't have property in this country unless you live here. How about that as a rule? The only people who can own property in this country have to have residency in this country and live here and pay tax here. No tax, no residency. You don't get a vote. No representation without taxation to make it go the other way. Hey, how about that? And then, the ultimate sanction is take your passport off you. Or we put a stamp in your passport saying expatriate. And so when they turn up at a British embassy, they have to pay for the services there. If they get into trouble with the police in Dubai because they kissed their wife in public and they end up in a filthy jail cell, standing up, nowhere to sit for hours on end, like what happens in Dubai, they any kind of legal representation from the embassy, they have to pay for it, and they have to pay for the fucking nose for it. Put a premium on it, make it 10 times the amount that it actually costs the embassy. Make some coin. Why are we representing rich people using lawyers who are paid by British taxpayers to work in that embassy in the United Arab Emirates or in Peru or Panama or wherever? Well, why are we paying for them, for billionaires to use when they get into trouble? And don't forget, ladies and gents, in Dubai, there is no bankruptcy law. You lose your money. You literally lose your money. You owe people £1 million. You can't just shut up shop and become leader of Durham City Council. You got to pay it back. You got to pay back £1 million. It's like you're taking a loan from the bank. You got to pay that fucker back. Like you're taking a student loan. You got to pay that fucker back. If you can't pay, goes to jail. And yeah, we spend millions, billions a year on our embassies around the world. If someone's not giving in to the pot, they can fuck off. I know that legally we can't take their passport off them unless they've got a passport for somewhere else, but just fucking put that stamp in their passport, expat. No recourse to public funds. There you go. That's what you want. like what my Australian girlfriend had in her passport when she lived in the UK with me. No recourse to public funds. And that includes any kind of embassy services that they may require. Urban Legends, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Had a row with a boomer. They were saying they paid all their life and earned the winter payment for a holiday. Pointed out they had paid £11,000 total. Wow. Yeah. It's true though, isn't it? Chrissy says the wealthiest don't really contribute to the economy as a worker does. Well, what do you think? I mean, exit tax, property confiscation, and no recourse to public funds if you leave. That's it. Punish them. They want to leave, let them. But say, okay, but you're going to go. It's going to fucking cost you. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. So yeah, and then when they do come back, 5 years, they've got to make NHS contributions. Because what a lot of these rich motherfuckers do is they'll amass loads of fucking money. At the age of around 60, they go and fuck off to Dubai. They go and sit in a air-conditioned mall, soulless air-conditioned mall for 10 years, and they love that because they've got no souls. And then they get ill. And healthcare in Dubai is quite expensive if you're not an Emirati. If you're an Emirati, it's free. But if you're not an Emirati, it's quite expensive. So that's when they come home to the UK and they get all the care and support from the NHS. And I'm not saying that the NHS should stop giving people care and support at the point of contact, whatever they call it. I am saying that they should follow the same rules as an immigrant coming here. 5 years. Oh, it's 10 years now, isn't it? 10 years. You've got to pay your NHS surcharge each year. How about that? And how about making your NHS surcharge, I don't know, 5% of your entire fucking wealth portfolio? That'll fuck them up, wouldn't it? So if you do go away and take all your stuff on the way out, I'm not going to give you any fucking legal protection over there. When you do get back, because you're not feeling good, you're going to have to pay more than everybody else just to be seen by the NHS. Boom. There you go. And who's going to argue against that? The millionaires, that's it. Fuck them. They're in the minority. And this is what we should be doing, you know? We should definitely be, keeping the nurses. And the rights conflation is feeding directly into this crisis by creating suspicion around all migrants. And the right are pushing this narrative. They're pushing this idea in people's heads that there's no difference between someone fleeing war, persecution, torture. There's no difference between that and someone who's a healthcare professional, fully qualified, who is asked to come here. We have adverts in other countries. You know this, right? We have adverts saying, in Nigeria, in India, in Kerala, in India, there were adverts that say, please come to Britain. Please come to Britain. We're begging people to come to Britain. Apply now. We'll give you a discount on your visa. And this means that, the Britain that is being created by the likes of Farage and Tice and Wigmore and Gove and Boris Johnson, all these fuckers. It's a world, it's a country where we look on anyone who looks different or sounds different as a threat, as someone who could possibly might do something bad. And I feel like years ago we were trying to keep a lid on this and trying to get people, especially in the wake of 9/11. I know that Islamophobic attacks went through the roof, but there was a consensus in the political world that Islamophobia was bad and we should do everything in our power to fight against it and realize that the vast majority of Muslims are not. The jihadists, they're not out to get us, the rest of us. And there was a lot of time and money and effort put into that narrative being out there. But I think since the Brexit vote, it's all, the gloves are off. They're just, these people are being openly racist. and not entirely subtle about it anymore. You got a woman, a representative, an elected representative, and member of the British Parliament, the mother of all parliaments, a British member of the UK, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland Parliament building in London, and she has stood up she sat down, I think, in an interview and said that it makes her sick, or she gets pissed off, or she's fed up of seeing black people on the telly, brown people on the telly. At once there are Schrodinger's immigrant, and once there's too many of them, they're everywhere, and there's also too few of them to get representation on the telly. People need to get angry at oligarchs rather than refugees. People need to start blaming the powerful rather than the powerless. Essentially, that's the world that we need to create. And yeah, that's how I feel about it. Let's see what you've said in the chat. Make it expensive to leave and then even more expensive to come back unless we have reciprocal tax agreements with the country they went to. Yeah, obeying legends, absolutely. These people who go to Dubai for 10 years, don't pay any tax into the system here, and then come back and expect to get free stuff. Fuck off. Here's something, right? I applied to get carer's allowance for my dad when he got diagnosed with dementia. So I put the application in 2016, right? And at the time, I was staying most of the year on my island in Panama, and I came back in 2017, and this process was still going on, and it wasn't until 2018. Yeah, man. I don't know if it took 2 years. It was definitely 2018 when they finally got back to me about my carer's allowance. It was like £67 a week. £67 a week, right? And it took them so long to decide, right? And then in the end, in 2018, they came back to me and said, "We're really sorry, but you've spent too much time out of the country to be able to claim this tiny fucking benefit to look after your dad, who's got dementia, full-time caring job, essentially 24/7. When someone's like that, you've got to live with them, you got to stay with them all the time. You can't just go out and party. It just doesn't work like that, And they said no. They said no because I've been out of the country too long. Up to that point, well, that's okay, fine, right, whatever. That's the rule. That's the rule. I've been paying taxes in this country. I've been paying my stamp in this country. When I've been working and I've been doing writing gigs or presenting gigs, I was paying it into my British bank account and then declaring that for for tax purposes. But that didn't matter, that they were like, no, you were literally not in the country. So even though you were paying tax in the country, you were. Whereas these fuckers who go over to Dubai, they're not paying any tax at all. So yeah, the system is already in place, but it's not affecting the millionaires, is it? But yeah, make it difficult. Make it difficult. The tax the rich thing won't work, other than that active rallying cry for the left. You can't tax your way to prosperity. You do that through growth. That's the best achieved by undoing the hard Brexit, says Nick. You can't tax your way to prosperity. Well, if you just take the tax and sit on it like a big dragon, then yeah, you're right. But if you use that tax money to stimulate the economy and to give people more and to generate, investment in industry and in businesses in the UK. So just look at it this way: if you've got a spaceship enterprise allowance scheme or something like that set up, it's paid for by taxes. If you've got an investment fund that says, okay, if a manufacturer of wind turbines or a manufacturer of trams wants to invest in this particular place or this city or offshore wind farm, whatever, the government will match fund it. So if they want to give they want to give 50 million to this project, the government will give 50 million to the project to make sure it goes ahead. That comes from tax. So yeah, I mean, if it was just a case of taking tax, yeah, you're right. It wouldn't necessarily make us do anything good for the economy, but stimulating the economy, yeah, that actually does good. And I'm a big proponent or supporter of universal basic income, because I think that could change everything, making sure that people know they've got a few quid each month, just to keep them going. Keep their head above water. We don't want to pay tax, but we want good service is a myth. We pay a lot for shit services because so much money goes to third-party services, which are expensive as hell and shit. Yeah, Urbane Legends, you're absolutely right. That is a huge problem caused by Thatcher. The fact that everything's been privatized, so it's all going to be run for a profit. So, and we've got these natural monopolies like water, gas. You can't switch your provider of water. It's the one water company. It's a privatized company. Then what are they going to do? Are they gonna try and make it so that, I mean, they're for profit companies, they're not even like not for profits. They are profit making enterprises. What do you think they're gonna do? Are they gonna pay the £2,000 fucking fine, or are they gonna spend 2 million cleaning up that fucking river? Pay the fucking fine. Of course they will. Universal income plus universal housing, yeah. Beyond a certain level of wealth, money becomes highly mobile and will always move where it's treated best. Property only makes up a small percentage of a wealthy portfolio. Yeah, but for the amount of wealth in this country, the property makes up a massive amount. And if we say to people who are leaving, you can't take it with you. What was it? A dead man's shroud has no pockets, something like that. You can't take it with you. You leave the country. You can't continue owning property in this country. That's it. End of. We'll fucking take it off you. If you register abroad and you want to live there, well, full time, fine. But you can't have property in this country. So all these leave the country types will have to come back. And Martin says, it had Diz, but it's heated. Nurse said she could see the scary. Basically, it had a bit right across. Ooh. Captain sounds familiar, says Josh. I see how much money goes out of the council. I work for third parties. It's disgusting. They pay third party 1,500 a pop to complete a form. Yeah, Urban Legends. Yeah. The amount of money paid out to private enterprise by public funds is fucking ridiculous, and it's based on this notion that governments, civil service can't run stuff, and we often hear about a bloated civil service. We very rarely hear about a bloated, commercial service, a bloated private service, because we don't want to hear that, But don't forget, a lot of our industry in this country, a lot of our businesses are awash with middle management who we probably don't actually need. But we never hear that. It's always about public services. Oh, there's so many civil servants. They didn't do anything. They're just pen pushers, whatever. But then you quickly find out when things go horribly wrong and there's no one there to fix that bit that needs to be fixed, or maintain that bit of software, or actually knows where the gully suckers are, to actually, we end up getting a bigger disaster. Look at the floods that we're having at the moment. That's caused by a failure of bureaucracy, a failure of forward planning. Okay, we need to put flood defences in. Unfortunately, that means building a big, ugly fucking concrete wall along a lot of our water courses. Great. Thanks for that, global warming. Being a landlord should not be allowed as a profitable business, should be state-run only. I couldn't agree more, Liam. I think that being a landlord is a disgusting way of making money, especially when you get other people to pay your mortgage for you through their hard labour. That just goes mad. Hi, Chris. Lost me. She said I'd have 100% death tax, no gifting. But I know that's far too many. No, I'd have 100% death tax as well. Fuck it. All these rich people going, hey, well, no one gave me nothing. Nobody gave me anything. And they honestly believe that these people who are rich, who are posh, who are neo-aristocratic, they do believe their own propaganda. They believe that they are special. They're touched by God. Not. It's a bad expression, isn't it? We don't use that anymore. But they are somehow, they're on the side of the angels because of an accident of birth. When the reality is, and we also saw Trading Places, great example, right? The movie. You get anyone from anywhere and put them in a suit and get them to trade futures in the pork belly market or whatever it is, frozen orange juice, and they'll probably do a good job of it. There's nothing special about these rich fuckers. And I will again mention Matt Hancock, because unfortunately he deserves to be mentioned quite a lot, because people seem to forget what that fucker did to this country I won't. People still go on about Gordon Brown selling off the country's gold. Hardly anyone mentions Matt Hancock murdering tens of thousands of old people. I think, says Jack, I think MPs that skip their constituency on the regular should be made to go there and pick up dog shit for a whole month, says Jack Russell's 4 years. Yeah, fair enough. Government closed NHS England as it was a quango, duplicating and triplicating paperwork. Yeah, it absolutely was. Nick says, John Major LSE speech, the loss is made far greater by some decisions the present government has taken, and one reason we are facing a painful and difficult budget later this month. Yeah. Well, Nick, I mean, it's a million. It's £100 million that we've lost each year, every year since we voted for fucking Brexit. £100 million. I suppose since 2020, technically, since the beginning of 2020, for over 5 years now. That's £500 billion. I'll say that again. £500 billion that we've lost. Do you know what the GDP of the UK is? £2 trillion. £2 trillion. And we've already lost £500 billion because of Nigel Farage. Don't forget, £50 notes, right? Stacked on top of each other. If I had a stack of £50 notes like that, right? Stack them up. Once they got to 6'6", height of a tall man, well, tall woman, I guess, that's £1 million. Once they get to twice the height of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, tallest building in the world, so well over 1 kilometer up in the sky, right? That's that's £1 billion, right? Keep going with your stack of £50 notes, one on top of the other. £1 trillion, 5 times higher than the International Space Station. That's how much £1 trillion is. So if we stacked up all the £50 notes that Nigel Farage and his cunt mates have stolen from us, stolen from the British people over the last 5 years, £500 billion, right? £500 billion, it will be 2.5 times higher than the International Space Station. Can you just make that in your head? Just imagine a stack of £50 notes stretching far into the sky above your head. You can't even see the end of it. It's so far away. And that's the money that Nigel Farage and his guffawing, toff, cunt friends have stolen from the British people, from our country. When I put it like that, bloody hell. Friends, that's what he did. Why is no one talking about it? Why isn't that image on the front cover of all the newspapers? Look at all this money. Look at all this money that we could have had. But Nigel Farage decided that he didn't want us to have it because he was rich enough and he wanted us all to be poorer. He wanted every family in this country to be thousands of pounds poorer than they would have been if that little cunt had just fucking stayed at home in his fucking palatial fucking palace, flying around on his private bastard jet and just kept to himself, but just continued being a city trader or whatever the fuck he did before going into politics. That rat man should go to jail for the rest of his fucking miserable existence. I'd have him stocks so he could throw rotten fucking fruit at the motherfucker 8 hours a day. In the stocks, Nigel. Oh, I don't want to go in the stocks. Fuck off. And we'll put a bag over his head so we don't have to look at his fucking ugly face. How about that? You'd go to jail for robbing a fucking Mars bar from the corner shop. You fucking would. If you're a perpetual offender, you've been robbing stuff, you know. They caught you. Oh, you've been robbing again. We're going to give you a fucking 6-month sentence. Go to jail. Go to fucking jail for a fucking 59p fucking chocolate bar. Meanwhile, this motherfucker takes all this money from us. Steals all this money from us. Not for himself. Maybe for Putin. I don't know. That money's gone. All those £50 notes stacked up. 2.5 times higher than the International Space Station. Gone. You could build an elevator to the to the International Space Station. That's the size of 2 stacks next to each other of £50 notes. And you still have a bit left over. Captain says, sudden realization, considering the kids no longer care about society, has me thinking that the right-wing policies are promoted because they think they can get away with it. Looks like an lazy way. I think the kids do care about society. I think they do. That's C for coffee, Graham. Not C for see you next Tuesday. Thank you very much to Jack Russell's 4 years. £5 super chat there. We've got 3 super chats on the super chat chart. How long have we got? We've got half an hour. We've got half an hour for another 7 if you want to drop them in. There can be any flavour. So it can be 99p if you want. If you do $1, if you do dollars, that's 79p, I think it comes up. Morning, Gwyneth. The Brexit revenue losses due to Nigel Twattage and Bubba Johnson is lost in UK investment in tech and industries and tax returns. Yeah. Burnham on BBC this morning. Nago was awful at the end, asked if he was going to run for leader over and over, even though he said he don't know what will happen in 4 years' time. I quite like Nago. Urbane, to be clear, the 2-tier law, one for the worker, one for the wealthy, is a big reason democracy is in real trouble. Yeah. And the rich go on about the 2-tier system when actually it's the 2-tier system that benefits them because they don't have to abide by the same rules that bind the rest of us. Thank you very much, Urbane Legends. Thank you very much, Jack. We need 6 now, 6 super chats to get to our goal. Now, all I can imagine is 50 quid notes floating around in space. Well, Pete, they wouldn't necessarily float in space because I'd glue them together. I'd glue all those £50 notes together. So there's a big glue tower. Big tower of £50 notes. I often go on about the fact that Nigel Farage didn't take those rights to live and work in countries around Europe away from himself. He just took them away from us and our kids. But I think this one might even strike people even like, oh my God, what an absolute shitbag. How fucking dare he? How dare he do that to us? How dare he do this to our country? Because his big thing is about patriotism, isn't it? About how he's such a fucking great patriot and how he wants to make Britain great again and all this bullshit, right, that he comes out with. So I think that it could be his Achilles heel if used correctly, if used as a paint a target on that motherfucker's back. I'm not a vindictive person by nature, but some people just push me beyond fucking any semblance of care. I was going to say something else there, but I just, honestly, when it comes to Farage and Trump, I don't give a fuck what happens to them. There's nothing that could happen to them now that I'd go, I feel sorry for them now. I feel sorry for there's nothing I can imagine making me feel sorry for either of those motherfuckers because they have fucked so many things for us. The thing today I read about Trump, he's pulling back all the environmental protections. He wants to drill for more oil. He wants to pollute the world as quickly and as efficiently as possible. He wants to destroy the future for our children and our grandchildren as quickly and as efficiently as possible. He's rolling back protections for endangered animals in the USA. Endangered animals. Can you believe that? I can. Because it gets in the way of drilling for oil, you see. Because that's all they want to do. Drill for oil. Persecute trans people and drill for oil. Make loads more money. Because oil companies aren't rich enough. The richest countries in the world aren't rich enough. Right, should we pop over to the papers? See what bollocks is in the fucking papers. So there's a picture here of the royals kissing, which is nice. But and Meghan's cheesy ad with them kissing. So obviously every day. What the fuck? Why am I getting Black Friday deal? Bit Defender? What? Daily Mail here, basically slagging off a couple of royals. You gotta have a picture of the royals, don't you? Another day in Starmer's socialist paradise. They like using this title on the Daily Mail. What percentage of Britons think the economy is in a great state under Labour? 0. Just 6 days before the budget, poll delivers an excoriating verdict on Rachel Reeves. I'll probably pronounce that wrong. Don't care. Okay, cool. And then there's another royal on the front cover of the Mirror here because you've got to have the royals. You're over here. There's some royals. Oh, there's some more royals there. She's actually on the front cover twice there. There's 2 pictures of that particular royal because you need to have them on the front cover of everything every day in case we forget what they look like. You know, I mean, that would be the worst thing ever if we forget what the royals look like. So there you go. There's the 2 boys, the sons of Princess Diana. Princess Diana, who Trump, just a few months after she died, tragically in a car crash in August 1997, actually went on the Howard Stern show to say that he could have nailed her. And he would have nailed her. Nailed. That's the word that they used. Nailed. Will and Harry's mum. But only if she got an AIDS test first. That's what Donald Trump said. What a piece of shit. Okay, so we see you already. UK warning to Putin as spy ship targets RAF planes. Oh, this is about spy ships using lasers to point at RAF planes. We've got Atherton at the Ashes, the ultimate preview of cricket's greatest test. Okay. Russia in uncharted territory at the ship aims lasers at RAF pilots. Trans guide to protect women. No, it's not to protect women, dickheads. This is the Times. It's a Murdoch rag. No, it's not to protect women. It's to demonize trans people. It's to push trans people out of society, which we need to make sure that doesn't happen. Despite what Murdoch fucking wants, a tyrant billionaire who lives in some other fucking country, being a twat. Fat Spicer, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. The biggest news in the Mail is that male leaders are so thick they think 0 is a percent. Very good. Labour sits on plans to preserve safety and dignity by letting staff turn people away based on looks. All right. And then there's a picture of Catherine. There she is, looking, fetching. I mean, it's a nice dress, I guess, but I don't need to know what she looks like. I know what she looks like. If I want to, I can just Google Catherine, whatever fucking Windsor, whatever fucking surname is, Princess Catherine, and a picture will appear of her so I can remember what she looks like. I don't need to. It's like having the Queen on the front cover every day. It's like, well, it's all right. I've got a banknote. I've got a picture of it. I know what she looks like. But Miliband to deliver cheap energy but higher bills. Ed Miliband's clean power dream will add more than £150 to annual electricity bills by 2030, despite the falling price of wholesale energy. Okay, so that's all just mad fucking propaganda from the Times there. We've got Gregor Fisher, who plays Rabsy Nesbitt, who was big in the 80s. It helps us, or 90s, I guess. It helps us see the artist of Fresh Turner, the secret sketchbooks. So this is, what is it, J.M.W. Turner, or is it J.W.M. Turner? Oh, they're just fucking the painter, Turner. Apparently all his sketchbooks are dead pornographic, because like most kids, he just drew a load of naughty pictures, and then possibly, looked at them. Be great being, because back in the day, you didn't have any access to porn, did you? So you'd have to draw it yourself. If you wanted porn, you had to make it yourself. All these artists, that's how they fucking cut their teeth. Anyway, so, you can go and see his secret sketchbooks. They're not so secret anymore. Starmer calls on Farage to address racism claims. Oh, has he written a strongly worded letter? Okay, cool. And up to 7 centimetres of snow fell in parts of Britain yesterday, including the Cairngorms, where the reindeer roam freely. So there's some reindeer there covered in snow. We're still covered in snow here in Durham. I'm getting some more today, apparently, more snow today. So I might go out and do that thing that you do when it's snowing, Build a snowman. Do you want to build a snowman? Alarm over Russian spy. I've done that one. IDF used cluster bombs in Lebanon. Experts say, which are illegal to use, but they use them anyway. Whatever. The Daily Star here, which has a spider on it, which I don't like because that gives me the shit. We've got Kel Tears Broke My Heart. This is something to do with I'm a Celebrity, which I'm not watching, so I don't know what it's about. And but that lady has big bosoms. Hurrah! Arctic Blast. We've got a picture of a snowman. And then we've got Adam and fiancée Holly hit out. Petey slams his family. Star says they were encouraging false claims. I don't know who Adam Petey is. He's got a ginger moustache. He's a man with a ginger moustache. That's all. And then there's another guy with a. Oh my god! There's so much ginger facial hair on this screen at the moment. We're having a bit of overload. As we've got Ben Stokes there with his big freckly arm, being all freckly and ginger. And then we've got Kevin Spacey, homeless, cancelled, and crooning. Okay. I don't think he's really homeless, is he? He's not living on the streets. Cash for land deal to end war in Ukraine. Trump's peace plan would lease Donbass to Putin and make Russian an official language. That'll show him. Nearly 500 migrants a day sign on to benefits. Nearly 500 migrants a day are signing up for benefits as claims by foreign nationals hit a record high. So there you go. That's some more possible, what's it called? Bullshit statistics. Bullshit statistics from the Tory graph there. So what they've probably done here. I don't know. This is just what I assume they have done is knowing what they're like. They are probably done that thing where they conflate people who are born in another country but have lived here for most of their life and are claiming pensions, which is still seen as a benefit. And so they're taking those numbers and saying, look at all these people who are claiming benefits. The thing is, the people who are fresh immigrants here from Nigeria or from Pakistan, from India, from Bangladesh, those people have no recourse to public funds. It says it on their work visa. It says no recourse to public funds. So they're not the people signing for that. They just use the word migrants. So these could be migrants who came across with their parents in the 1950s as part of the Windrush generation. These could be EU citizens who came here years ago from Poland, from Spain, from Italy, and set up a life here and have worked here, contributed, paid into the pot. But the way that the Daily Telegraph is using these bullshit statistics. Oh no, the animation froze. There you go. If it got through. Oh, that was a bit disappointing, wasn't it? Do you know why that is? It's got the animations on a hard drive, and it's not on my. It's on an external hard drive. Oh well, never mind. That was going to be better than it was. Let's see if the super chat animation works. Ta-da! Thank you, Miss Paula Thomas. Adam Peaty is an Olympic gold medal swimmer. Oh, cool. Excellent. Is he posh? A lot of our Olympic medal winners are very posh. Adam Peaty, English swimmer. Ooh, he's got. The first picture of him came up. He's in his swimming trunks. Adam Peaty, English competitive swimmer, specialised in breaststroke. Born on the 28th of December. Let's learn a little bit about him. He went to Repton School. I'm going to have to add him to the private school mafia because, a lot of Olympians went to private school. That's not to say he's good. He's not a good swimmer. I'm sure he's a great swimmer, but I guess that life is not for the rest of us. Not for us little people who can't afford a yacht or a rowing lesson down the fucking Isis River. Unconfirmed rumor: Mandelson's autobiography to be published under the pseudonym IP standing. Okay. Adam Peaty is a local lad. He comes from Uxeter. Cool. I've done nothing against him. I'm just saying, I'm pointing out that he went to private school. Maybe I need a little private school animation. A little private school, of course. Because he's, in a newspaper. Do you reckon Ben Stokes went to private school? Well, should we, he's a cricketer. So, let's have a look for Ben Stokes. Ben Stokes, English cricketer. Left-handed cricketer. Born 1991 in New Zealand. Oh, okay. He was in New Zealand. Okay. And he went to Cockermouth School. Oh, I love him. He went to state school. And not only did he go to state school, he went to Cockermouth School, which is in the Lake Districts, I think. It's Yeah. In Cumbria. In Cumbria! Yeah, Cockermouth. What a place. What a name of a place. I wanted a filming job in Cockermouth. Couldn't stop giggling. Anyway, talking of Cockermouth, Donald Trump. Anyway, let's move on. BBC trans bias has hurt our children, say hundreds of parents. Hundreds of transphobes yesterday talked a load of bollocks. So let's see what it says here. Hundreds of parents have accused the BBC of damaging their children with a constant drip feed. This is what it says. A constant drip feed of one-sided pro-trans programs. Sorry, which programs? The news? Where are the trans people on the news? There's no trans people who read the news. There's no trans people in most of the shows on TV. Where are the trans people in Slow Horses? Where are the trans people? Where are they? Where are the trans people in Jane Eyre? Where are the trans people in Bridgerton? Where are they? I didn't notice any. Are there any trans people in these shows? I didn't fucking notice them. I mean, maybe they're showing Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, that incredibly transphobic film, on a loop on the BBC, but I wasn't aware of it. In any case, Sean Young isn't a trans woman herself. She's a cisgender woman. Constant drip feed of one-sided pro-trans programs. Fuck off! Sorry for shouting, but are you fucking kidding me? Pro-trans. Amongst their complaints is that senior BBC manager, including Jonathan Murrow, its new head of news from last week, dismissed concerns and failed to take them seriously. Okay, can you name me? At times, the BBC even appeared to encourage children to undertake irreversible medical transition. At which point? Can you tell me which shows? The BBC has constantly failed to engage with safeguarding concerns. Yeah, but which shows? Which TV programs? The worst which? Is Bluey? Are the transgender dogs in Bluey? Like, what the fuck? Are the transgender people in the Night Garden? What the fuck is going on here? Name some fucking shows. So I'm reading the article here. I just can't see anything. There's just nothing there. There's nothing there. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to our transgender brothers and sisters who have to put up with this fucking bullshit every fucking day. Every fucking day. Absolute nonsense. The BBC is biased towards trans people. Okay, give us one example. Well, we told them that we were not happy and they didn't get back to us. Yeah, because there was nothing to talk about. There are no fucking pro-transgender shows on the fucking BBC. Maybe Sex Education. It's not a BBC show. It's not on Netflix. It's got transgender characters in it. Doctor Who? Maybe they're talking about Doctor Who. Because they had that one transgender character once who was the daughter of Catherine Tate. Okay. Mummy, I watched Doctor Who and now I want to have surgery. What do you want for Christmas? I want gender affirming surgery, Mummy. Yeah, because that happens all the fucking time. I saw it on the Doctor Who Christmas special and now that's what I want in my life. It's like this idea, isn't it? Going back to the days of like, oh, if you see a gay person on TV, it's going to make you want to be gay. Or, I don't know, if you hear Jerry Adams' voice on the telly, it's going to make you want to be a terrorist. Yeah, if teachers talk about being gay in school and how much fun it is, then the kids in school who aren't gay will go, oh, I think I'll be gay now. It sounds much better than being hetero, because that's how it works. You know, if you had a lesson and there was a kid in the school who fancied, I don't know, brunettes, right? And then you had a lesson about how sexy blondes were, then that would change them overnight. They just wake up the next morning and go, fucking hell, I fancy blondes now. Take that, Audrey Hepburn. Not interested in you anymore. Mila Kunis. No, not you. Just the blondes now. Because that's how it works, right? That's why heterosexual parents never ever have kids who turn out to be gay. Oh, hang on. Anyway, the goal ends in 10 minutes. We need another 3 super chats to get confetti, and so I can turn the heating on. I don't know what's more important to you, but for me, I would like a little bit of confetti. I'd also like to put the heating on. I don't know. Homes Under the Hammer can be rather fruity sometimes, says Captain Coconut. Yeah. There was a trans woman on Only Connect, and Graham Linehan went nuts about it, and Victoria Cohen Mitchell, privately educated, of course, as is her husband, as is Graham Linehan. So these are privately educated people having an argument on the internet. Yeah, they're just going off on one because a trans person appeared on TV and answered questions in a TV show. How dare they be seen? How dare they? Yeah. Viper Scott, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. So sick of the anti-trans from the mainstream media. Can just fuck off, says Alistair. Yeah, mate, I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. It is just ridiculous, the amount of hatred. But it's all paid for by the oil companies. We know the link is there. We've found it. We've found out who is paying for all this. It's the fucking oil companies, to distract the fact that they're destroying the planet and they're going to kill all our children. Never mind about children getting gender realignment surgery. This is not something that happens in this country. It's not something that's ever happened in this country. And puberty blockers are fucking reversible. They block puberty. You stop taking them, you go through puberty. It's as simple as that. Saz, thank you very much for the £2 super chat, Saz. Woo! We're nearly there. We're nearly there to confetti. We only need one more super chat. Oh yeah, we got it! Woohoo! Viper Scott, I stand with trans folk. Thank you so much, Alistair. Thank you, everyone who's dropped a super chat in. We've got confetti in the chat for those of you who can see the chat. For those of you who can't see the chat, confetti! Confetti! Oh, coming down. Cool. So yes, all very exciting. Viper Scott is very exciting. Forget the confetti. The confetti. Chris C says, to be fair, Cybermen are sort of trans after they assimilate women as well, but you never hear them be called a cyberwoman. That's very true, actually. A bit sexist. The black goo merchants, yeah, the toxic fucking foreign slop. Toxic foreign goo. Toxic foreign slime. Nightmare fuel. The nightmare fuel peddlers of the world. There you go. So thank you. Thank you very much for the confetti. Thanks everyone. We'll go back to the papers now, unfortunately, because you need to see what they're saying. Snowfall gives UK early taste of winter. Okay. We've got a picture of the royals there. Very low resolution picture for some reason. I don't know why it's so low low resolution when the actual text isn't. Wait, whatever. 26 million people would face significant fall in income if measure was axed. Proof pension triple lock must stay, says the Express, which is only read by pensioners. That's what they want. That's what they want. That's what they'll get. And then we've got the I newspaper coming up next. As soon as I get rid of this fucking advert for Vistaprint. Fuck off. I haven't bought anything with Vistaprint for years. Britain's hardest working town. I bet it's not the richest, though. And then we've got Alicia Kearns, who says, I was spied on by Xi. This is China's endgame for the UK. We've also got thunder snow warning. Ooh, thunderstorm. And quite a lovely picture of a reindeer, but unfortunately messed up by the picture of cars next to the reindeer, threatening the reindeer with death. And then we've got 10% council tax hike for millions to transfer money into North and Midlands. Big increase are part of major funding overhaul to protect services. Hang on. Okay, so local authorities in South and West will be allowed to raise council tax well above 5% cap without a public vote to help cover their losses in new funding shake-up. Urban areas in the North and Midlands, such as Telford, Blackpool, Manchester, Nottingham and Wolverhampton, most likely to benefit from government's fairer funding reforms. When limit has previously been removed, councils have approved large tax hikes. Bradford went for a 9.99% rise, and councils in Scotland opted for a 13% rise earlier this year. So we're going to see all these refund councils that say they're going to save us money, probably going to put up the tax, aren't they, if they can. Legal British vigilantes slashing small boats on French coastline for Instagram posts. Fucking hell, imagine you got nothing better to do with your life than to stop people coming over the channel by slashing up boats. I mean, imagine having that much free time. What do people do with all this free time that they get? I also have to plan all of my day. Like I plan in naps. I plan in 20-minute naps into my day just so I can, get everything I need to get done. And I still don't get it all done. Oh, there's not enough hours in our lives. Urban Legends. Thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Careful, China might nick our worst tech. That's quite funny. And we've got this fucked up story on the front cover of the Metro newspaper, if it would allow me to get it up. Excuse me. We've got blackmail alert over Putin-linked gang. Russians hack fertility clinic. Clients fear intimate details will be linked on dark web as details of thousands, fuck off advert for PayPal, are stolen. This is a really concerning story and just shows how dangerous it is to have all this information out there on the internet. And they say it's secure, they say it's encrypted, but the reality is that a lot of people working in these sectors don't know what the fuck they are doing. And there's people there who are constantly trying to hack into these systems, constantly trying to hack in. And unless we have people who, take this stuff really seriously and put in, 7-factor authentication, but they don't. They make it fucking easy to hack into these things. People with the password as their password. The word password as their password. I'm out of coffee, so I'm going to wrap it up soon. But special report here. French police use massive nets to stop small boats crossing channel. So they are doing something. The newspapers want us to believe that the French are doing nothing, when actually they are. And there is the Yantar, which is being tracked by naval frigates. This is a ghost ship, and you can see it's there, being captured in a special plasma camera that picks up plasmagraphs, as they're called, from ghost ships. So there it is. We can see the ghost ship there, merrily paddling away on the dark sea of the underworld. We're ready for you. UK's stern threat to Putin over spy ship. Defense Secretary warns Russian president after research vessel aims lasers at RAF jet in deeply dangerous and unprecedented attempt to blind pilots on mission to monitor intelligence gathering off Scotland. So there you go. Britain has issued a stark warning to Vladimir Putin after a Russian spy ship off the coast of Scotland directed lasers at RAF pilots. I'm sorry, right? I get all hawkish now. I don't think they should be threatening. I don't think they should be giving them words of warning. I don't think they should be sending a strongly worded letter. I think they should be blowing out the fucking water. Come near us, we'll fucking blow you up. If a British ship went into Russian waters, they would destroy it. Guarantee it. They wouldn't write a fucking strongly worded letter. They would fucking destroy it. So how about we, make an example? Come into our waters. I'm sorry, but you came into what we saw it as a threat. You've already launched this massive war against Ukraine, which is, part of Europe, part of our continent, not yours, Russia. Yeah, we're already at war with Russia. Russia have been at war with us for years now. For over 10 years, we've been in this asymmetrical warfare with Russia that people don't seem to realise. Not least our fucking government. Can Brussels get its AI act together? I don't know. Russia struck US-Russia plan a non-starter. Residents near their apartment building hit by a Russian missile strike yesterday in Ternopil in western Ukraine. So this is near the border with Poland, presumably. Home investors pull 26 billion from top London stocks despite blistering rally. FTSE 100 outpaces US and Europe. Foreign inflow amid AI bubble fears. Budget fuels nervousness. So the AI bubble bursting has been put back. The schedule for the AI bubble bursting has been put back for a little bit because the Nvidia posted its profits yesterday and they were better than expected. So the AI bubble's doing all right at the moment. But it is a bubble, and at some point it will burst. Do we have anything cheerful? Well, EU demand for 6.7 billion to join arms funds rejected. Ministers have offered a fraction of Brussels' price for joining its 140 billion rearmament strategy. The European Commission has said that the British contribution to the joint procurement programme need to reflect the benefits of the country's industry. So there you go. Iran-Russia nuclear links. Tehran scientists have made a second covert visit to Russia. Great. Lloyd's governance probe. The insurance market has hired lawyers to investigate potential failings in governance around the appointment of an executive under its previous boss, John Neal. W.H. Smith chief bows out. Carl Coling has resigned after an independent probe found that US accounting errors went on for years and will result in larger than expected hit to the travel retailers' profits. Travel retailers? Travel retail? When is W.H. Smith a travel retailer? Okay. Inflation pressure eases. The case for an interest rate cut next month has been bolstered as October price pressures ease to 3.6%. EU mineral stockpile. Stephanie Sojourny, the bloc's industry chief, has told the FT that EU will create a body to plan the stockpiling of critical minerals to stop the US buying up supplies from under our noses. Good. Blue Owl calls off merger. The private credit group with almost, $300 billion in assets has ditched the merger of two funds after an FT article outlined how it risked losses for investment in one of its vehicles. Well, there you go. The FT doing the Lord's work there, saving rich people from losing money. Toxic politics haunt Spain 50 years on from Franco. The death of the dictator Francisco Franco 50 years ago paved the way for Spain's transition to a prosperous economy. But today the country is dogged by a toxic politics that threatens its ability to sustain a buoyant economy. And then we've got Wimbledon nets big exemption from crackdown on ticket reselling racket. Wimbledon is set to secure an exemption for its, what's this? Debentures? What kind of word is debentures? Debentures from a crackdown on reselling tickets above face value in what would be a big win for the Grand Slam tournament. In April, Wimbledon said an issuance of 1,250 number one court debentures were oversubscribed at £73,000 each. Wow. Do you think Prince William pays that? Or do you think he gets a free ticket? Do you think Princess Kate pays that? Or do you think she gets a free ticket worth £73,000 to go to a tennis match? That's fucking crazy. That is fucking crazy. Expect a new GIF in politics social discourse. I think with Starmer, it'll just be a letter asking nicely. I know. Who was it? Who was it in the chat who said the other day, Starmer's the kind of guy who brings a rule book to a knife fight? It's just so absolutely just sums up Starmer so fucking well. Milk has gone up 10p in Asda today. Jesus. Bain says, Spain's economy is doing well because they let asylum seekers work, offer them training in areas where they have lack of workers. Who'd have thunked it? Yeah, exactly, O'Bain. You're completely correct about that. It is that we should be allowing asylum seekers to work straight away when they come here, and giving them help and support, and giving them some kind of sense of security that we're not going to throw them out when Nigel Farage and his bunch of fucking yahoos come and screw us all over. Anyway, right, so I'm going to bugger off now, as is my wont. I will be back hopefully at 6 o'clock tonight. Might do an episode of Refuck Watch. We might do an episode of The Swear Jar. I don't know. Might just do an episode of me just sitting here for an hour talking bollocks. Who knows? But we'll try and get something. We'll try and get something tonight for you, for your viewing pleasure. So do us a favor before I go. Give us a like. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Give us a subscribe. And also, if you're feeling fruity, press the bell notification icon, and that'll let you know when we're doing another show. So hopefully I'll see you at 6 o'clock tonight. If not, I'll see you at 9 tomorrow morning for another morning brew. I'll try not to be late tomorrow. Depends how bad the snow is today. the snow is affecting my my ability to get this shit done in time. But thank you so much to everyone who's contributed today. Thanks for all the lovely messages. It is Trans Day of Remembrance today. I'm just seeing if I've got any more messages that I need to read. Okay, yeah, it's Transgender Day of Remembrance today, so please let your friends and family know that and make that point that every trans suicide is a murder. And I know that sounds like slightly hyperbolic, but it's not. It's not. It's the fucking reality of the world in which we are living in at the moment. And every day that my awesome trans friends get up, get about their day, live a normal life is a victory against the forces of evil, the oil companies and the transphobes who are locked in this unholy fucking alliance to demonize trans people for something that isn't their fault. It's just, people living their authentic, true lives as their true selves, doing no harm to anybody, except the fucked up psyches of ridiculous, usually privately educated people like Graham Linehan and Loser Fox and these hundreds of parents who wrote to the fucking the government complaining about all of the trans bias on the pro-trans bias on the BBC, of which there is none. Anyway, all right. So I'm gonna head off now. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully see you at 6. If I don't see you at 6 today, 9 o'clock tomorrow. Big packed lineup tomorrow. We've got the show in the morning. Then we've got 1 o'clock. Got me and Phil. We'll be doing the agenda. Please join us for that. Where we'll be talking about the government's, the Labour government's asylum policies. Why they're doing this. Will it be successful? As much as, as distasteful as I find it, will it be successful? And at 9:30, we've got the Friday night social. Please join us for that. It should be a bloody good laugh. And until then, thank you so much for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.